All right, hello and welcome. So I know this is quite a bit late. Life things happened. Sorry about that. But let's go over Devstream 83, and there will be spoilers here, so be warned if you'd like to avoid those. But let's get started. So this was an incredibly short Devstream in terms of information, so this is not going to take very long to go over. First, we got the kind of confirmation that the next cinematic quest is going to introduce the sentient super weapons, which, for those of you that do not remember, are this. This is the enemy that they come from, or this is the concept for the enemy that they come from, rather, and that's what the concept for what they look like on Warframes. This is what they actually look like on Warframes. Pretty cool. This video here came from Steve's Vine, so yeah. It's pretty interesting. I don't know. I don't even think they know how it works yet, based on what was commented with the Vine, so hopefully it ends up good, but that's probably quite a ways off. Figured I'd just show that stuff again, though, for those of you that have not seen it. And then moving on from that, we got some changes to Sorties, which I believe are already in. I think most of these things are actually already in, besides the focus stuff. So, limiting the amount of times in a row you can get Endo, because getting 2k Endo every single day is not super fun. But basically, get Endo like a couple times in a row, and then the next one you just cannot. So, it'll keep you getting things that are not Endo, which is going to be really nice. Beyond that, they talked about the Focus Plus operator system, like what that's going to mean, like what's going to change with Focus. Focus will be getting its rework, hopefully sooner rather than later. Yeah, but that was being delayed by the War Within introducing the transference system, which kind of makes sense, even though those systems are kind of separate by nature, because you get one when you complete Second Dream, and you get the other when you complete the War Within, so one has to work without the other. So, hard to say how that'll go. But then they talked about the alignment system, which is like the neutral, and then sun and moon is what apparently they're called, not good and evil necessarily. But if that will factor into the focus rework, and it seemed like it might, but nobody really seemed sure on that. But that system is also going to limit your access to certain things, so at first that sounded really terrible, but then they kind of clarified that it's going to be in the future relatively easy to go from being moon to being sun, I suppose. Which is interesting. If they... It'll be fine, probably. That seems fine. Like, it seems like that might kind of just be like a little bit of a throwaway system, but I don't know. It could be really interesting. I'm into it either way, I guess. And then they talked about ribbons, which these changes are already in, and I will be probably doing a bunch of stuff with this on the Saturday stream, so come check that out if you'd like to see how all this stuff works. But they are adding disposition, which is already in. Which is faint, neutral, or strong. Faint meaning that ribbons don't have much of an effect on the weapon, and neutral being kind of just normal, and strong meaning that they're more powerful on those weapons. Each weapon will have a classification of that, and then that determines how strong a ribbon can possibly be on that weapon, which, at first, I came to mean that, like, that would be like, oh, that means that if I were to get damage plus, it is always this percentage. It does not work that way. It is still entirely random. So, that's great. But yeah, that's fine, I guess. I don't know. It just doesn't make much sense to have a faint, neutral, or strong when you're still relying on randomness to give you your actual statistical value, so whatever. Like, if you get, like, a low roll on a strong one, it just ends up as the same thing as, a high roll on a faint one, so then how like, the disposition doesn't really help you that much. I don't know. It seems like something that could have determined what the values of a ribbon mod were, but doesn't for some reason. So, whatever. And then cycling changes. Basically, you have to confirm your cycle now. So whenever you go to cycle, it'll be like, this is what you cycled into. Do you actually want that? Or you can keep what you still have. So you still spend Kuva on it, but you can choose to not go to the next thing. So that's okay, I guess. I feel like that might be... I don't know. That's kind of helpful at the same time. Like, the not doing that and instead doing, like, stat locking makes way more sense to me, but whatever. And then there's no more unveiling after your first unveil, so you do not have to keep going and doing those challenges, which is whatever, I guess. I don't know. I thought that was the interesting part of Ribbons, but removing most of that, I guess, is fine. But yeah, that's Devstream 83. And I'll see you guys on the stream. Yeah. Not much happened. Not much information. Kind of... Nah. Yeah. See you guys tomorrow.